It's Thursday, October the 1st, 2020. Welcome to Woodstock City Council. This meeting is being held electronically in accordance with Section 238, subsection 3.3 of the Municipal Act and Section 16.6.24 of the City of Woodstock Procedural Bylaw. This meeting is being live streamed on the city's YouTube channel and broadcast on Rogers TV. A recording of this meeting will also be posted on the city's website following the meeting. An agenda of the meeting can be found on the Agendas, Meetings, and Minutes page of the city's website. Councillors will be raising their hands in view of the webcam when moving a motion, requesting to speak, and when a vote is being taken. If a member of council is disconnected or having technical difficulties, we will take a recess in order to attempt to rectify the issue. If technical difficulties exist that prevent the meeting from continuing, the meeting will be adjourned and reconvened at a later time. If a councillor needs to leave the meeting at any time, they are requested to inform the clerk. Thank you and welcome, councillors. Please turn on your videos. And any disclosure of conflict of interest? Seeing none. Any disclosure of new business? Seeing none. Matters arising from the minutes. The minutes from our last meeting held September 17th, 2020. Councillor Lauder.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Accioni, that the minutes of the regular meeting with the Woodstock City Council held on September the 17th, 2020 be adopted.
Thank you. Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? And carries. Unanimous. And we have no presentations or delegations today. So our next order of business will be consideration of correspondence. And we have correspondence from John Harvey regarding park naming request. Councillor Accioni.
Moved by myself, the Woodstock City Council refer the park naming request from John Harvey to staff for a report in accordance with council policy GA 019, property and facility naming.
Thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Schadenberg. Discussion? Seeing none, you've heard them. Oh, Councillor Schadenberg.
I just wanted to clarify for everybody that John Harvey is a very well-known former teacher in the city of Woodstock. He was actually my teacher at WCI not so many years ago, and is still very much involved in the community. I see him often at the library, but he's very much involved with the Woodstock Field Naturalists Association, for example. So he's certainly knows his history, and as a good suggestion for a future park naming in the city of Woodstock in his letter.
Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? And carries. Unanimous. And our next item on the agenda is the Municipal Transit Enhanced Cleaning Agreement. And this is some additional funding that's become available and from our senior partners. So we'll go with Councillor Talbot, seconded by Councillor Accioni.
I'll move that Woodstock City Council authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the necessary agreement regarding the Municipal Transit Enhanced Cleaning, MTEC, funding, and the necessary bylaw be prepared.
Thank you. Discussion? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? And carries. Unanimous. And our next item on the agenda is regarding street naming. Councillor Tate. Seconded by Councillor Accioni. Go ahead.
Sorry. Make the motion that Woodstock City Council rename Prince Andrew Crescent to be Silverwood Crescent and that necessary bylaw be prepared. And further that the requirements of council policy GA 001 street name changes be waived for the renaming of this street.
Thank you. Discussion? And we'll go with Councillor Talbot.
Thank you, Worship. Not only because of what was going to be presented and the implications and problems that arose out of that. St. Andrews Road, I thought that was, I live on St. Andrews, and that is a very similar street and could be confused with Prince Andrew Crescent. But I think Silverwood, we used to have Silverwood Dairies here, and they were a big part of our community. And so I think it's very fitting to have that name being chosen.
Thank you. And further discussion? Councillor Schadenberg.
I guess my only comment is this: I've got opposite nothing against the name Silverwood, of course, but back when the street naming bylaw was passed quite recently, actually, it was Karen Houston from the museum that had done some research on it and came up with various themes. It was something that I suggested myself back last spring to come up with some new themes, or maybe other names that had been missed, but certainly some themed sections for neighborhoods. And my only thought would be if we use Silverwood now, that would take up a very important dairy name that could be used maybe in a section of 5 or 6 street names at a future time. And then all of a sudden we've already used it in another subdivision, and maybe we could use it in a subdivision next year or the year after that. So that's my only thought. And we had, I would have a couple of name suggestions too, but if Silverwood's the way the council wants to go, I could see that being fine as well.
Thank you. Councillor Tate.
Yeah, and I appreciate the councillor's comments, but the developer originally had suggested all the names which we had adopted. So staff accordingly went back to the developer, and this was the developer's request. So I think we should honor his request. And I was of the same thought as Councillor Tate, or sorry, as Councillor Talbot. St. Andrews was pretty close to the Prince Andrew, so I could understand that. But I thought, to be fair, we should go back to the developer, and this was his request.
Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? And carries unanimous. And that moves us right along to bylaws. And we have Councillor Lauder moving bylaws. Thank you. Sorry, your microphone, Councillor.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Tate that the following bylaws be given first and second reading. 9411-20, a bylaw to provide for changing the name of parts of highways in the city of Woodstock.
Thank you. And discussion? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? And carries unanimous. Councillor Lauder.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Schadenberg that the following bylaws be given third and final reading. 941120, a bylaw to provide for changing the name of parts of highways in the city of Woodstock.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. All those in favor? And carries unanimous. And today we'll start our addresses with Councillor Fraser.
Thank you, Your Worship, and I have very little to say. Certainly a fall has hit us quickly, and our community seems to be staying relatively healthy, and few cases in the COVID-19 situation, so that's all good news. So that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll go with Councillor Schadenberg.
Earlier, I had mentioned the Woodstock Field Naturalists Association, so it's woodstockfieldnaturalists.org. I just want to put in one little plug for them on Monday. That's October the 5th at 7:30. They have their first meeting of the fall. It'll be, of course, done through Zoom. They even have a guest speaker lined up, a gentleman named Brendan Samuels, who will talk about bird-friendly cities, how birds they can be friendly to birds within a city. And the Woodstock Field Naturalists Association has done a lot of great work over the years. And what they are is more than anything else, they love nature. They go out bird watching and enjoy the trails of the city of Woodstock and area. So you can certainly contact them through their website, woodstockfieldnaturalists.org, if you want to join their organization and possibly participate in Monday's meeting. The other thing I wanted to mention is on Saturday, the Friendly Ghost Costume Stop is taking place. So that's Saturday, October the 3rd, 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. at Golf Hall Community Complex. Free admission, of course. It's a chance to pick up some costumes or decorations. In fact, you still have time to even donate if you'd like to sarah1981@hotmail.ca. But it's also important that you contact for them to register, because of course they only want to no more than 40 people in their room at any given time. So they don't want everyone to show up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and want some people, of course, to show up at other earlier times. Last but not least, certainly not least, it's my mom's 80th birthday today. So happy birthday to Mary Van Veen, turns 80 on this very day today. So happy birthday to my mom.
And as good Canadians, we always seem to compare ourselves to people south of the border. So I think you need to check on today's current exchange rate, and you might find out that she's still in her early 60s in American funds. Now, Woodstock definitely is a bee-friendly city. We've done that. And as I think about bird-friendly, I seem to find all of the bird-friendly parking spots. It's hard to keep my car clean. Next up, we'll go to Councillor Talbot.
I think we're also squirrel and rabbit friendly, Your Worship. There seems to be a surplus of them around this year, and it worries me when I see how many squirrel holes are being dug out there. I don't have much to say, but just wanting to hope people continue to wash their hands and be careful in public and keep their gatherings small so that we can continue to do the course that we're doing, which has been very positive in our area as far as not having very many cases. But for those that celebrate Thanksgiving, it's just around the corner, and I hope everyone keeps their groups down to 10 and just in their bubble. Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, definitely, I think some of those squirrels may forget where they buried some of those nuts. So the added benefit next spring is we'll find some more walnut trees and maybe some burl oak and chestnut as well, growing in places that people didn't necessarily intend. But Councillor Tate.
Sorry, just had a couple comments. One is about the individual that some of us probably see around the downtown with a large amount of bulk items, that he makes a terrible mess everywhere. And just for the public's knowledge and for other city councillors, I did talk to the police chief. They've tried just about everything they can with him. They've done the situational table referral, set him up in a motel through Sally Ann, tried to convince him to sleep elsewhere and return downtown to visit, ticketed, criminally charged, and then hoping to get court-ordered treatment. Nothing has worked. So they have exhausted everything. They have done everything they can. And thank you to our staff, to Warren Waugh. Every time I've contacted him on the weekend, he has gone and the city has cleaned it up. With this individual, though, he can be violent. So I suggest people stay away. And thanks to our city staff for doing everything they can. That's it.
Thank you. And I think that definitely there's some potential gaps with some of our senior level government and how things are handled when it comes to some of these quality of life indicators, not just on homelessness, but on mental health. So for a lot of the concerned citizens, if you see our provincial member through his travels, maybe ask him if there's thoughts he has on how we can address some of that situation. And thank you for mentioning that, Councillor Tate. Next up, Councillor Accioni.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to thank the individual that kind of spotted and helped catch the person, potentially, assuming that is them, that was able to, with their information, of course, to catch them putting everything in the parks and the dog parks. So hopefully we won't be seeing any more of that here around the city, and just encourage everybody to still keep their eyes out for any activity. And of course, we always have Crime Stoppers here in town to give a call. And also on another note, blood donor clinics are in dire need. So if you have the opportunity and you can, and you see one, they need blood. So get there anytime you can, and just continue on with what everybody seems to be doing. We're very lucky here in Oxford County. COVID cases are very low. So let's just keep our distance, keep a mask on, try to eliminate touching as much as possible, and let's keep everybody healthy. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. And Councillor Lauder.
Thank you. I just wanted to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and hopefully we can all do what is being asked of us regarding COVID, and so that we'll be all be able to be together with our families for Christmas. And that's all for today. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And many people, of course, now that fall is here and we see the leaves dropping, would have been outside on Saturday trying to enjoy some of that beautiful sunshine. Might have heard the rumble of many well-tuned motorcycles coming to town. Together with the CAO of the hospital, Barry Lang, as well as our fire chief, Jeff Slager, and our police chief, Daryl Longworth, I was able to greet the riders that came in from all over Ontario, from as far away as Ottawa, of course, Toronto area, and down to the farthest southern point in Canada, from Windsor and Peely area. And it was the Sikh Motorcycle Association. They wanted to come and thank all of the frontline workers that we have here in the community. Of course, they've done this in numerous other communities in the province, and they all marshaled their motorcycles on the streets on the North Shore of Pittock at Shauna Larson Park. We all practiced our physical distancing and all of the protocols, etc., masks, while there were a few speeches that were made. And it was really nice to see so many people in the community were out there waving as they went past. And we also had a very special donation made that day from Mr. and Mrs. Desjardins Betty. Some of you would know him as Woody. So Woody made a donation to the Woodstock Hospital Foundation for cultural diversity and inclusivity training. It's something that the board at the hospital has been working on with a committee and looking at how they could apply funds. And now that donation has come in, and so they'll get to work on some of that training for the frontline staff. Likewise, they also made a similar donation to the city of Woodstock to use for our frontline, such as the fire and the police. And again, we've had those discussions around the police board, and we have a committee set up that has been looking at that, making sure that we're all aware of different customs, etc., for some of the people who are now calling the Friendly City home. So what a great day that was, and a very generous donation from a long-time member in the community, and of course one of our newer street names that council approved at the last meeting. We also have been able to celebrate the 45th anniversary of Crescent Care here in our community. Now, it was a little different than some of the other times where they've celebrated their anniversary and had special events. So you are unable to share the cake and share the memories with some of the seniors there when you're doing it via Zoom. But again, all the best to all of those families and the care that's given there that's helping generations to come. Now, of course, it is Fire Prevention Week coming up October 4th to 10th, and you can learn more about that on the Facebook page for the city as well as the fire department and in the What's on Woodstock magazine. Another great article that you'll see is about the new technology that council approved with the hydrogen technology through Dynacert. So we're putting a unit on one of our buses and a unit on one of our garbage trucks. And it's going to help reduce emissions. It's going to help cut down on maintenance, and there'll be savings on fuel, savings on all of those filters, etc. So, and that has been paid for, of course, by a grant through our gas tax funding. So read up on that, and of course, stay current with everything that's going on in the community on the city's calendar and Facebook page and through the What's on Woodstock magazine. And as things continue to change in our province and in our region with all things related to COVID, go to Southwest Public Health for the most current information. And on the city website, we'll have links to that as well. So with that, I wish everybody a happy Easter and enjoy these nice fall days, and make sure you continue to do the hand washing and physical distancing. And that number of 10, that's indoors. So some people, depending on how the weather goes, and if you want to go over that number with your bubble in your family, maybe some of the younger people and teenagers can be outside. Or if it's real nice weather, then everybody could enjoy their Thanksgiving outside in the backyard up to a maximum of 25. And I want to remind individuals that you cannot combine the 10 individuals indoor with the 25 outdoor. It's an either or scenario. So with that, I would ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Fraser, seconded by Councillor Accioni. You've heard the motion. All those in favor? And carries. Thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you all again.